So if you're thinking about building an online business and you feel right now that you don't have time to put the energy into this, and this is what a lot of people go through, because it's hard to balance your work life and to build something when you get home, right? Because it's not easy. So one of the things that I did for the last 2 years of working at my job was this thing called quiet quitting. It's where you basically quit your job before you actually hand in your notice. It's where you take the approach of the last one in, the first one out. You do the bare minimum that you can get away with. You do the very least, almost to the point of the worst person in the building, right? But you just do a little bit better, because if you do that, then they can't technically say anything. So it's not about going above and beyond and trying to get all the pay rises and all the responsibilities. It's about doing the bare minimum. It's about giving yourself the energy and the freedom to get home and not have all of those headaches and external pressures, so you have the energy to focus on your own things. Because nobody wants to get home from work tired and have the goals and dreams of building your own thing and just not have anything to put into it because you're so burnt out from the day at work. And I see a lot of people do this. Like, this is how I was for the longest time. But I made a huge decision. I knew I had to be selfish. I knew I had to focus on my own goals, because if I really wanted to build a business, then something needed to be sacrificed. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice my goals. I was willing to sacrifice the company I worked for. So there was times where I could have got, higher up positions, right? Manager roles, pay rises. But guess what? They all come with extra responsibilities. And yeah, they sound like a good idea at the time. You might need it for your mortgage and, your kids at home or whatever you need to afford. Bills have gone up, I get it. But you've got to remember that every single responsibility that you take on from work, every single extra job you have, these are all going to eat into your creativity and your energy levels. There's only so much mental energy that we have in a single day. And if you're completely burning out at work, you're leaving no time for creativity in the evenings when you get home. So take the last in, first out approach, because, getting to work late, leaving as soon as you can. Back at my job, there used to be people that used to just do overtime all the time. And I did it for a while, because I felt like that was the route to earn more money, right? You do a bit of overtime, you work on Saturdays, you double time and a half, double pay. Like, just think about it for a minute. Like, the whole concept of working a Sunday for double pay, you're literally just using your free time to trade your time for money rather than using your energy to build your own thing. It makes no sense. So yeah, I get it. Like, pay rises are great, and it's the carrot on the stick scenario, isn't it? Because it makes us feel like we are getting rewarded for the hard work we do. But just remember that it always comes with extra responsibilities. In most cases, it's going to eat up more of your energy and your time. So we don't want to be doing that. We want to be coming home from work as early as possible, as fresh as possible, be able to put as much time and energy into our own business, because that is what's going to be the highest leverage task that we can do to start building that momentum. Because in the early days, it is difficult. You need to put in work in the evenings, you need to put work on weekends, and you can't do that if you're burning the candle from both ends while you're at work. So for me, I used to get to work late all the time. I used to leave as early as I could, even sometimes a little bit too early. And it feels wrong to admit that. At the time, I was kind of in two minds. I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing. It went against my values because I didn't agree with it. I've always been a very respectable employee. I've always been hardworking. I've always wanted to put the effort in and help grow the company. But you get to a point in life, and perhaps the business you work for, where you realize that you're just another number. You're insignificant, and nobody cares whether you leave or stay. They might tell you they do, but you'd be replaced within the week. And I think when I started to realize that, it made me look at my job completely different, because then I saw myself as just a commodity that could be replaced. I wasn't someone who needed to be there, and I was trading my life for a business and a managers and directors that didn't care about me. And it's as simple as that. Like, you need to be selfish. They don't care about you, so why should you care about them? At the end of the day, you're just there to make money. And I think people overlook that, and they start to feel like their business or their employer is, their identity in a way. It becomes their identity. But that's not who we are. We are creative human beings. We should be going off and creating our own businesses, creating our own life, and building something we can be proud of that can support us. So it's a really hard thing to do, and I get that. It's not easy at all. It took me 12 years to get to that point. So I'm not saying it's an easy process to go through, but it's definitely something worth considering if you're in a position right now where you feel like you want to build something, you're really struggling with time. And I get it, you can't do this with every job. I appreciate that. It depends obviously what sort of business you're working in, what you do for a job. I'm not saying if you're a doctor, for example, or you can't, obviously, you need to think about what you're doing. But, even if you are like someone prestigious or some high up position, why not take a step back just for the short term? Something with less responsibility, something that you can do with your eyes closed. Because at the end of the day, you want to be going into work, just be on autopilot for the whole day, because you're saving that creativity for when you get home. The worst thing you can do is take on a job where it's just very stressful, and you're going through the whole day, and you get home and all you want to do is run a bath and put the TV on. That is going to be a massive disadvantage for you in the long run. So my job, I was an engineer 12 years, and I managed a CAD CAM department, a small team, and it was my job to basically make sure we was on target, hitting KPIs, quality control, hiring people, doing interviews, just managing the staff and the office and the machinery. And it just got to the point where I was just trying to delegate as much as I could, because I saw that I was too consumed in this business. It was taking up too much of my energy. I said yes too many times. I was a bit of a yes man in my early days, because back, to a certain extent, you have to do a bit of arse licking to work your way up the ranks in most businesses, right? It's just how it works, unfortunately. The arse lickers always get the promotions first. And I refused to be an arse licker. It got to the point where I refused to do that. And, at the time, it was a hard decision to make, because I was effectively turning down promotions, turning down extra money. But I knew that energy could be spent on building my own businesses, and it worked, because it gave me time in the evenings to work on what I wanted to work on. So this is what we call quiet quitting, guys. So if you feel like you need more time, you need more energy, take a step back from work if you need to. Take a reduced role. Ask for a downgrade in whatever position you're in at the moment. Yeah, you're going to get paid less, but that's not the point, is it? The point is to have that energy, to have that freedom of the mind, to be able to be creative in the evenings and do your own thing. That is far more important than chasing pay rises and just, for the sake of an extra few pound an hour, to be stressed out at work and not have that energy for when you get home. So be selfish. Don't care what your employer thinks. I'm not saying, be horrendous, but look at the worst person in the building and just be a little bit better than them. The worst person and be a little bit better. And then technically they can't say anything, so you won't get fired. So yeah, just a quick one today, guys. But that is my opinion on the workplace and quiet quitting. I think you've got to be selfish in life. In this game, everyone's selfish. I think in business, you're either building somebody else's dream or you choose to build yours. So this is a decision that we have to make. We either want to build our own thing, or we choose to work for someone who has that dream themselves. And it's as simple as that. And most people, unfortunately, choose to go down the path where they want to work for someone else. And that's fair enough. Like, not everyone wants to build their own business. But I only want to work with people who are entrepreneurial minded and want to build businesses, because there's more to life than cooped up in a little office working for someone else, when you can have a lifestyle business, stay at home, travel, work online, meet incredible people, have incredible conversations, and truly live a life of freedom. It's not all about money, guys. Remember, you don't need much to replace your income. I'm not saying you need to make hundreds of thousands a month. Sure, that comes with time. But if we can get people to the point where we're making a couple of grand a month online, which can replace your income, truly life changing. And that's all you need to quit your job and go full time with this online lifestyle business stuff. So what I teach is personal branding, e-commerce, digital products, basically how to use a personal brand to build relationships, build a community, and sell these digital products and build a fantastic business off the back of it. And I've done this in the last sort of 10 months now. I've built a brand new digital product business, which is a community full of entrepreneurs, showing people how they can make money online by posting content online and, you know, running ads and building websites and things like that. It's an incredible community full of like-minded entrepreneurs. And these are the sort of things you can build when you dedicate yourself to going all in on yourself. So thank you for watching, guys. And I'll put a link for the community down below. You're more than welcome to join, and I'll help you build this lifestyle business. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.